Is football coming home? Will Joshua Sargent make America great again? Questions you want answered. We have the answers here on the TNC Podcast.
England, 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 England.
What a day.
England, 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 England.
I don't have an England shirt. I do, but it's at my mum's house still.
You could have put the face paint on you and famously sported one year.
Well, I'm doing it Friday. The face paint is coming out Friday.
Good. And where are you watching it on Friday? Not with me.
No, I'm watching it in a pub you've actually been to before.
No, you're going to that pub?
Going to the Bell. The Bell in Hemsby, where dreams are made.
Do you know what I loved about the Bell in Hemsby, to be fair? Can I just make this point clear? Hemsby is not Yarmouth. Was they had the drums, they had like a band, they had trumpets, the lot. And
shout out to Waldo, who's a big TNC fan, big Norwich City fan. He's assured me the drum is there. He's got the cowbells ready.
Lovely.
He's got the whistle this time. So
a bit disappointed that it's a cricket hat. I mean it's a shameful sport, but I'll accept it from you. The 3 lines are on your hat.
3 lines on the hat. Jules Rimet still gleaming. Of course, England won the Cricket World Cup last week. Cricket first, football this.
That doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, you may as well tell me that the mighty Pouring Wanderers won 1-0 3 weeks ago to I don't know,
Thetford
Cossey or something. I don't care.
What we must say. We are recording this on Monday.
We should really start scripting this show, shouldn't we?
We are recording this on Monday, and we've just been given the news. Well, not been given personally, but we've seen it on Twitter.
Breaking.
Josh Sargent starts.
Yeah, Super Sarge starts.
Against Wales.
I know we're going to talk... We should go through the agenda. We've got lots to cover, by the way. Middlesbrough, Attanasio, reflections, reading through some of your YouTube comments, responding to your Twitter questions always. But we can... And obviously we're going to talk about Sargent, but... Let's make it super clear at the top of this show. Huge congratulations to Sargent, even just making the squad.
Absolutely.
And if he does anything in the World Cup, fair blooming play. So proud of him, and particularly the way that man has got up off the canvas this season has been phenomenal. And as I have made it clear for the last few podcasts running now. Except in front of the Attanasios, obviously. We weren't happy, to say the least, with Sargent in the Premier League. We heavily criticised him. I still believe he deserved that criticism. We couldn't defend what we saw, particularly when he missed that sitter against Brighton. But, my God, considering he's been played out of position this season and he's still contributed what he's contributed to, muscled his way into the USA squad. At time of filming, he's starting... against the Welsh. Come on, you Yanks.
I suspect people will be watching this back commenting, he scored a hat-trick.
Fingers crossed.
We might not.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised. Maybe there'll be breaking news because we are filming this during the game. So
it's remarkable though, isn't it? You say that, Chris. If we would have gone back and told us when we were watching that Brighton game last season that Josh Sargent will be leading the line for the United States in the World Cup,
I wouldn't believe you. Yeah, no. And he deserves it. And fair play. I can now understand why the club recruited him. He was just nowhere near it in the Premier League. But then, I think about many of our players in the Premier League last season, and they all looked a shadow of themselves. Really, they were all mishmashed around and in wrong positions and demoralised, and it's hard for any player. So fair play to the Sarge.
And I think it was okay to be critical because at the end of the day, Norwich City had recruited to play in the Premier League. We needed to be good enough that season. And Sarge wasn't, along with a whole host of others. We're drinking Lakens, as always.
Yes.
Now, we have to say, look, these could even be sold out by the time this goes out.
Yes.
The Lakens and Nor collaborative box sold like hotcakes in the first week. Yeah.
The TNC Tinder special.
Yeah, I said they would. So it's 12 bottles of Lakens. In the next case, you get all of the best Lakens in there. And 3... bars of Nor. We've got a couple over there. Yeah. Grab them.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Here's one we made earlier.
Yeah.
Also, so we'll link that in the description. Use the code TNC Beer at checkout. You'll get 20% off. It's a bargain rate.
There's so much chocolate. I'm struggling
And
to hold up.
Nor have sent us a little Christmas package, and some of the stuff.
Well, I say a big Christmas package. It's almost as big as Grant Hanley's package. I tell you, it's absolutely massive. There's quite, it's quite the collection. I tell you what, I didn't realise about Nor, Jack.
Go on.
That they specialise in hot chocolates.
They're unbelievable.
Yeah, and for Christmas, right? And we know that the cost of living, etc., and everyone is struggling right now. If you need a little stocking filler, there is no place better to go than Nor.
I agree.
A local, hearty company. And by the way, the thing that we never talk about that much, but we're going to talk about now, is everything is like environmentally friendly, biodegradable.
Well, I was going to say, I know that Greta
vegan,
Thunberg's
the lot.
a big fan of TNC, and she'll be Delighted with the lengths that Nor have gone to save the planet.
I read a comment on YouTube the other day. It was something like, "Never mind TNC, more like fucking QVC." And I agree.
Fair play.
You got to feed the kids.
No, but Nor, we'll link them in the description.
Yes,
you've got 15% off. The code's there as well. As Chris says, if you find one of these in your stocking, you've done all right.
Pablo the Penguin. Like, there's just so many belters in here. So look, hot chocolates, standard chocolates, fancy chocolates. Do you know what I always struggle with? The work Secret Santa.
Oh,
again, another example.
Yes.
Stop messing around.
Yeah.
Get yourself on the Nor website. Get your TNC discount. Stick it in the mixer.
Yeah.
And get your chocolate.
And if you're, a single man or woman,
That's the
and
other
wanting
thing.
a bit of office romance, and you get one of these in your work Secret Santa.
I tell you what, yeah.
I tell you
Yeah.
what.
Yeah, dip your hot chocolate bomb in the mug and, yeah.
Let the chocolate do the talking. Right,
Yeah.
we'll put those to the side, Chris.
Yeah, let's do
nice
that.
little bit of selling there.
Yep, thank you.
As we say, be quick because these will sell out.
While stocks
I
last.
was actually watching QVC the other night.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
You are an awful individual.
I had a bottle of Rioja on the
Oh,
go.
you're so old.
Watching QVC.
Has it ever occurred to you that you're like a 70-year-old man in a fucking 20... what age are you?
24.
24-year-old's body.
With the health of a 74-year-old.
Do you know what, though? I do want to compliment you in this podcast.
Do you?
Yeah, you're actually... The beard is looking much more...
Tamed.
Yeah, well-groomed.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe next year we'll get a grooming sponsor.
Well, we did have one for a while. I must say, it got to a point. I think it looked okay for the Attanasio podcast.
It never looked okay.
And then I started to look.
Okay.
It looked like a
Homeless?
No, it looked like a section of hair that shouldn't be on my face.
Oh,
put it that way.
Ah, right.
It was starting to
Yes.
look like that. And I thought, time to get the clippers out.
That's never ideal.
No.
Jack.
That was a mad podcast, though.
Yeah, it was. Thank you. We should start by saying when we talk about what we're going to talk about before the show, we have like an agenda item, like 4 or 5 things in it, and I was like, is it a bit self-indulgent to talk about it? But I think having read some of the comments, it's worth us just providing a little bit of extra context around it, isn't it, Jack? But first of all, thank you.
Yeah, well, I think we kind of explained how it came about.
Yeah.
And it was, you were saying earlier off camera, like we've done one watch along this season, and we're hoping to do some more. But it just happened to be that they were watching. Like it was a really strange sequence of events, and I know that there were certain individuals making rumours that was this just like a press junket where everyone had access to, and I think that would have been a good idea, but it wasn't the case. I think Radio Norfolk had a good bit with Phil Daly, but it was us and it was Radio Norfolk. No one else had access, so it felt big for us because we were like, this is an opportunity, and we kind of need to do it justice because. Yes, Norwich City fans can hear from these guys through the club channels or the few minutes on Radio Norfolk, and that's fine and that's great. But we wanted to do something a bit different, and I think we got a bit of their personality across. I
hope so.
Having seen a few comments and tweets, people were really interested with Mike because no one had heard from him, and I think he came across really well. And he's obviously
super
a really
smart
nice
guy.
bloke.
Yeah.
But I think I would have liked to have pressed a little bit harder on a couple of questions.
Yeah.
But equally, we've only got so much time. There's 10 people watching. They had press officers of their own, press officers at the club.
Yeah.
And we don't want to just make them cold, do we? Because they could have just shut down and said nothing.
I'm pleased that you brought that up, Jack. That was what I was going to say. Basically, people won't know is the other side of the camera was the Attanasio entourage and Norwich City communications team. Not all of them, but some of them, right? And so what people have to, I guess, realise, the ones that were a bit sceptical or, maybe criticise the questioning a little bit, if we had asked a question that was maybe too punchy, the camera could have stopped rolling. Because as Jack said, for us to be able to do that was ridiculous. Because I don't mind sharing it. I was sharing it with Michael Bailey and Connor and Rob and yourself, Jack, as well. I had massive imposter syndrome beforehand because it felt way too big for us. So it was nice that we did it justice, but I want people to understand that we pressed them as much as we could. But we couldn't sit there and go, do you want Dean Smith sacked, right? Because obviously that means the camera stops rolling. So
and also it's not their decision to make either.
We hope that we did it justice. And I'm just so grateful that people tuned in and watched it. And Jack, you told me that phenomenally people watched it the majority of the way through, which most people don't for these hour-long things. 40% of people were actually in the US as well. So clearly the Yanks are intrigued in Norwich City, which is exciting as well, I think.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it was good,
I think if we when we not criticise, but when we were curious about the line of questioning to Anthony Richards and his answers, I felt kind of sorry for Anthony in that interview because he was answering things he shouldn't be responsible for answering. So if we suddenly ask Mark Attanasio, should Dean Smith be sacked? That's not his job. That's the job of Stuart Webber and his people around there. And as Mark said, at the moment he's still a very small bod on a board. But I think we got the questions over. I think the one I really wanted to ask, and we did get out of him, was, is your intention to buy more of this football club? And he said yes.
He basically said
And then I saw not many people, but I saw a few people say, well, whose shares are you going to buy? Well, it's fairly obvious. Delia's.
Well, yeah.
We don't need to ask that. We can assume that.
Yeah, I think so.
So, yeah, I was happy with it. And as you say, Chris, a big thanks to everyone for watching it, for continually giving us a chance.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true.
And a big thanks to the club as well, because they could have just said no.
Yeah,
and they didn't.
And obviously you said, Jack, people know, and I think I tweeted a little sort of series of events as to how it actually happened, but just to share it again, if you hadn't seen that tweet, very quickly, they watched the watch along. We spoke on social media, me and Mike over DM. They said yes to a podcast, but I said, good luck, guys. I don't think you'll manage to push it through with the club. But obviously they then had that conversation. They drove that conversation with the football club. Fair play to the football club, because they then gave it the green light, and I wouldn't have expected them to do so. And I think it's important that people know that, because obviously there's still a conversation going around regarding the local media and the relationship there. I still think that relationship needs a lot of nurturing, in my opinion. So I don't want people to look at that and go, oh, the relationship's healed, because I still think there's a little while to go on that. There's some ground to be covered, but hopefully it breaks the ice. And ultimately, the comment that I read the most was that people believed that it just injected a bit of optimism, which is what I said to you, Jack. I want to land this to inject a bit of hope, belief and optimism back into the fan base. Hopefully we did it justice. Let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. And if, we filmed it pre... I think most people assumed this, but we filmed it pre-Middlesbrough, so it was in the morning of. And I think there was a sense of we can beat Borough today. And if we'd have gone into the World Cup break off the back of a win, I think there would have been a bit of hope about the place. Go 1-0 up early on, Joshua Sargent.
What a finish, by the way, again.
Great finish.
Yeah, standard.
Ended up losing 2-1, 92nd minute goal. We walked out, and I was nervous, actually, because I was like, not only for the state of Norwich City, because we're in a really sticky patch now, but are people going to want to watch this after this?
Yeah.
Well, surely they're not going to be wanting to hear some, fluffy remarks. But actually, they did.
Yeah, I think. Well, maybe they just desperately needed to hear something.
Yeah.
Because I think someone commented saying, "Oh, why are you smiling after we?" Because the classic, people don't watch it, but then they make judgment before even watching it, which does my head in. Oh, why are you smiling when we're in this position? Blah blah blah. We filmed it pre-Borough. Okay, there was a bit of oomph in the air. And by the way, we looked tidy first half.
We did.
We looked tidy first half. Yes, I still would side with the fans that there's this, what's coming attitude, right? And that's fair enough. But I thought that we played some really nice, fairly flowing, proactive football.
Certainly first 20.
You know, Sarah again looked great. We were bringing the ball to Middlesbrough. Obviously, a great finish. But then to concede in the manner that we did, and I know that, and in my opinion, they were actually two really good goals. Yes, the
first one was a beauty.
The first one you can't do much about. What I would say is that Grant Hanley does leave space for him to pull off that worldie, but it's still a worldie.
Great strike.
You hold your hands up there. But the second goal, so the winner right at the death. It was nice football from Middlesbrough. I'd probably say that they wanted it more, which I don't often band about, but I do actually think they wanted it more than us. So actually, overall, I do actually think they probably did deserve the win, which is a shame, really. But again, I think yes, it's Dimmy's man that crosses it in. He leaves the space there, but again, Grant Hanley doesn't make it again to make the interception. So I don't like to single people out, but I have to there.
And the concern, I mean, the result aside, which was obviously a bitter blow, the concern now is that the relationship between fans and Dean Smith feels unhealable.
I think it's been like that for a long time though, Jack. I mean, I think it was the last pod before Attanasio said, I personally, it was with Connor actually, which by the way is a great pod, and thanks to Connor Southwell for coming on. He was brilliant as always.
Southwell, not Southall.
Yeah, why did you call him Southall?
Well, because it's Southall Racecourse.
No, it's so weird. No, it's always been Southwell.
Sorry,
anyway.
Connor, but he didn't say anything.
Anyway, I've said for a long time now, I think that Dean Smith's nailed to the cross. And one of the things that frustrates me is that I don't think Norwich fans are willing to actually allow him to make that change. So it makes it even more difficult for him. But I also understand the reasons why Norwich fans are fed up, by the way, because of all of the stuff that we know about already.
Yeah.
We're in a tricky situation now, right? We're in a real old muddle because obviously the lads are now going out to Tampa for warm weather training, which is, I'm sure, not going to go down particularly well with the Norwich fans, but maybe that's what they need. Maybe the group needs that. I had a phone call with, I'm sure he won't mind me saying, I won't say the details. I had a phone call with Anel after the game on Monday. And he's just absolutely gutted with what's going on. Absolutely gutted in terms of the losses, the performances. You know, very frustrated, obviously, with what's going on. He said that Dean Smith wants them to come back a different animal. So we need to see that. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we do. And this is it, Jack. It's got to work straight away when we come back after the World Cup, because if you don't, that's where I think the do you know what I'd say? I'd maybe flip this a little bit. And I've always wanted to take the heat away from Dean Smith, to be honest, because I think he's been given a rough ride, unfair at times. I think we'll find out a lot about the club's genuine or not ambition to be promoted this season if it starts to go wrong again in January. Because if it doesn't click straight away, there ain't a hope in hell that we're even getting playoffs, in my opinion. I don't think we will. I know the league's shit. I get that. I know it's tight. I get that. But we're way too inconsistent. So will they be brave and make a change if it starts to go wrong? I don't know.
The crazy thing is, so Norwich go into the World Cup break 5th, which on the surface of things, you go, okay, like, not too bad. Norwich are on 32 points.
Well, you might. I say bad.
But
I expected us to be around the top two all season with our squad.
But 5th, like, if you're neutral and someone says, oh, we're 5th, you go, okay, fine. Just listen.
Okay.
Because the point will come round and it will benefit you.
Okay, fine. Go on.
32 points. Top place Burnley are on 41. So that's a 9-point difference. Yeah. So we're 9 points off top.
Yeah.
32.
Yeah, but how many points are we off the relegation zone?
I'm literally about to tell you that.
Come on then.
Because that's the point. 22nd place Wigan are on 23 points. 9 points away. So we're as far off the relegation zone as we are top. I mean, it shows the balmy nature of the Championship.
I don't fancy Swansea, by the way. And First game back after the World Cup.
No, Swansea 30. I mean, we are 4 points from being 15th. And that can quickly change. I think the frustration for me is there have been signs in most games for 20-minute spells that this side has something about it.
Yes.
20 minutes against Borough, but like that's pointless. We need a complete performance, and we haven't seen one this season.
It's pointless if we don't take our chances, and let's bring that up, by the way, because
we had a hatful of chances.
It's easy to criticise the defence, but I mean, I've been on this bandwagon again for most of the season. You've got to criticise the attack as well. Again, some brilliant chances. You won't like me saying it, but it's just the truth. Timu Pukki misses a great chance in the first half against Middlesbrough. I believe if that goes in, it's a completely different game. And El Hernandez obviously had quite a difficult chance right at the death, where it could have gone in the top right-hand corner if you're sitting in the river end. A very good chance, which he is absolutely distraught about that he missed again, and that's fair enough. So it's not just the defending, Jack.
No, it's not. No, Pukki had chances.
It's the attack as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which is, and you know, this is just a random thought that's popped into my head, and maybe I'm scraping the barrel here. I want to see the Irish R9. This is the Carl Lafferty. You call it the Carl Lafferty syndrome, don't you? This is Carl Lafferty syndrome again for me, I think. But I am really, really excited to see the Irish R9 back in the Norwich City side. I believe that he brought something different and energetic to our side in the Premier League. Yes, it was dross, so maybe I'm looking at it with my glass half full too much, but I'm excited for that. I want to see Sargent up top on his own. I want to see Adam out on one side for sure. I think that is what I want to see, and then maybe I see Pukki coming on off the bench, but I don't think he should be starting games of football at the moment.
No, I think that's fair enough. Should we get on some Twitter questions?
Let's do it.
Right, here we go then. Let's get on to some Twitter questions. We'll start with Stan, and I haven't read through any
Stan
of
who?
these. Stan at A Blue Horizon.
Yeah, whilst you read the question, I'm going to see if Sargent scored.
This game hasn't started yet, so
okay.
I doubt it. But you never know, it's Sargent. Stan says, as much as I'd rather watch Norwich play this winter, I can't help but feel like we would be watching some turgid football at Carrow Road. If Smith is going to turn our season around, I'm glad the break has happened now and not when we're comfortably adrift of the playoffs. A few people I've seen saying that the World Cup break comes at a very good time for Norwich City. Are you seeing that, or is it almost just, prolonging our pain?
Oh God, I don't know. This probably dodges the question a little bit. What frustrates me is Smith was saying in his post-match stuff, and actually I think his pre-match stuff as well, like, let's just get to the World Cup. We'll get to the World Cup. World Cup. Didn't say it that many times, but he mentioned the World Cup a couple of times. And I think it almost seemed like a get out of jail free card, which was never valid, I think, and in my opinion.
Well, he also
because
said
we've had a fit
points,
because we've had a fully fit side now for a couple of games, and we've not picked up points, and it's not good enough. It's not good enough. I can't and won't sit here and defend Smith. Yes, I think he's been unfairly treated by people on the whole. I think the personal stuff, as always with any person, is too far. But I can't defend what I've seen in the last two games without the injuries that we've had. I think we should be winning games of football, and we're not. And there's no place to hide. It has to work, and it has to work immediately after the World Cup.
I think it was strange that Smith had publicly set a points total that he wanted before the World Cup. I think would he want 4 points from the 3 games or something?
Yeah,
which felt quite low out of 3 points. I mean, surely you should be going for more than that.
Yeah.
But the fact that wasn't achieved is quite a telling tale.
Yes.
Louis says, Smith says that Sargent is best through the middle. Why the hell does he play him out wide? Also says in the Sargent documentary, we looked better last season with 2 up top, so why are we playing one? I must say, I haven't watched the Sargent documentary yet. I've heard it's very good.
It is good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's
so
class,
so
yeah.
Smith is saying in that, or is Sargent saying in that he's better through the middle?
I actually don't know what to say on this, because I haven't got a bloody clue why we're not playing him through the middle.
Well, it's because
anyone
of
we
Pukki,
speak
isn't
to,
it? That's the reason.
I'm so bored of that.
But that's the reason. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. What are you bored of?
But how can it be? Because I just think, like, we should have learned that so many games ago, that we can't shoehorn Pukki in when he's not at his performance levels that we know he's capable of. We can't.
But the argument would be, and I agree to a certain extent, the argument would be Sargent scored goals out wide.
Yes.
So why would we change it? And Pukki is one of the Championship's best strikers. I mean, you only have to listen to opposition managers and fans and look at his goal tally this season.
But I think it's a balancing act, quality striker. I still think Pukki would have done what he's done this season if he'd come off the bench. I really do. That is my honest opinion. I can't answer that question. It completely bamboozles me as to why Sargent isn't starting through the middle. And it's not just us numpties saying it, by the way. It's former Norwich City professionals, ambassadors, Darren Eadie, Darren Huckabee, etc. They're all saying it. Holty, Sargent should be starting through the middle.
I think what will be interesting is how he's deployed for the States in the World Cup. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they play and if
me too.
If it works.
Me too.
Right, we're 2 minutes in to the game, so maybe Sarge has scored.
It probably has already.
Dom said, how many is the Sarge scoring at the World Cup? 3, 5, 10? Well, I think Ronaldo...
Golden Boot.
Brazilian Ronaldo's got the record, hasn't he, with 8 in a World Cup.
Oh, really?
So can we beat that? Will the United States get through the groups? So it's England...
Hopefully.
England, Iran, who looked a bit of a mess.
Yeah. Well, they look like a rugby side, don't they? How are they ranked 20th in the world, by the way?
Well, the thing
it's unbelievable. They're just dirty. They just kicked us.
I think that their record over the past couple of years has been good, but I saw
but that's because they're playing like Nepal and the Antarctic and teams like that.
The gaffer that 5-1 down was like blowing kisses to the crowd and like trying to lift the crowd. Yeah. So you're 5-1 down. They're obviously going to be quiet.
Yeah. Plonker. Absolute plonker.
So how many is he scoring? So what? Hat-trick against Wales. 4 against Iran.
I would like to.
Couple against England.
No. I don't want him to score against England. That's my opinion.
You don't?
No, I don't.
What about if
country before club?
We're 4-0 up.
You are?
We're 4-0 up. England 4. United States 0.
Yeah.
Would you let him score then?
Yeah, all right, fine. Yeah. Only if it's right at the end and there's no pressure.
And reveals a shirt saying, I bleed yellow and green.
Oh, yeah, that'd be class, wouldn't it? Yeah. Oh, no, the old hairy chest. OTBC shaven in his chest.
Yeah.
Ginger hair on his chest.
As long as we win, I would quite like to see Sargent score against England because it puts him on the map.
Yeah, but I don't want him on the map. I want him to stay at Norwich, mate.
No, I know. But
I've gone full circle. I don't want his stocks to go up anymore.
But it would be nice for people to be talking about Norwich City.
No, it would. No, I 100% agree. Because, and by the way, like I was thinking this the other day, and let us know in the comments if you can remember any players that we don't bring up now. In my lifetime, players that have got into the World Cup, I can remember Leroy Fair.
Oh, God, yeah.
But did absolutely fuck all.
What was that, 2014, wasn't it?
I remember Ruddy, but that wasn't a World Cup. I think that was friendlies. Oh, no. Yeah. I might have got in trouble with John.
Euros? That wasn't a World Cup.
Do you remember that?
Got great goal.
Do you remember the chain with the cross on it as well? Goal. Like, giving it that.
I was trying to think
ultimate,
earlier,
so
and I'm sure I'll be corrected. I can't...
Is there a World Cup player that we've forgotten that played for Norwich?
Well, I certainly can't think of it in my lifetime. I was trying to think of a Norwich player that gone to the World Cup and scored. I can't think of any. I'm sure there has been one.
I reckon Martin Olsson was probably in the Sweden team.
Yeah,
but that might be
in terms of scoring.
Can't think.
So Sargent should have been a history maker.
Should have been Grant Holt. Should have been Dean Ashton.
Well, that would have been Euros as well, wouldn't it? 2012.
Basically, Norwich internationals.
He was the second highest scoring England player that season.
There we go.
Behind Wayne Rooney.
Next.
Lots of chat, Chris, around Dean Smith.
Obviously.
Evan says, statement. If Dean Smith isn't gone by New Year's Day, automatics can be said goodbye to. If he's kept on for the season, we'll lose in the playoff semi-finals.
Yeah. I can't argue with that. My optimism tank was bled dry when we lost to Luton at Carrow Road. I'm not buying this bullshit. Oh, Luton are a good team. No. Fuck off. With our team and our manager, who we brought in the Premier League, who'd been looking after Aston Villa, I'm sorry, you can't lose 2 on the spin. It was we lost against Preston, which we put down to being unlucky, and they just had a great game. But then you go and lose to Luton at home. My optimism tank ran out. So I understand why that statement has come out. I can't argue with it.
What will have to happen for Dean Smith to get sacked? Because it's evident that the fans' morale can't get any lower. I mean, it was really toxic come the end of that Borough game. So that's gone.
And by the way, I just want to quickly zoom into that. I have never been part of an atmosphere at Carrow Road where it's gone from together.
Yeah, it was carnival, wasn't it?
I want to bring that up as well.
That was carnival like.
It wasn't carnival, but it was a decent enough atmosphere. And maybe that's just because
I've just looked in this screen. How ridiculous is this hat?
And it's class, mate. And maybe it's just because more than 30 people were singing together in the Barclay. Maybe that's why I'm saying it was a decent atmosphere. But it was. And then the way it turned, Jack, as soon as Middlesbrough's equaliser went in, it was, boom, toxic. Like, really toxic.
Yeah.
Worrying. Very worrying. Fragile. What was the question?
What will it take for Smith to get sacked?
Having listened to the Attanasios on our pod, Jack, and I know that they're not making the decision, but I don't. First of all, I don't want Dean Smith to get sacked. I really want to make this clear. I want Dean Smith to turn this around and prove everyone wrong.
But do you think he can?
I don't believe that we will be promoted this season. So, but I also can't see us. I can't see us removing him from post. I just can't. And then I think, this is always what I've said as well, it's not a silver bullet solution to sack Dean Smith and his coaching staff halfway through a season and expect instant returns and all of a sudden you got to... It's so rare. Like, what we did under Alex Neil is so rare. And we just about snuck in there as well, by the way. And the momentum was on our side. That doesn't happen that often. So I think it would be unrealistic to expect it to be able to turn around regardless of whether we change our manager or not, because of the current setup of the football club, the players that we've got, the 9 players out of contract that haven't had the opportunity to maybe have their contracts renewed. And I think that's a big problem. I think that's a big problem because these players, the majority of that team arguably, they're going to be thinking, well, hang on a minute, we're playing shit, and we're losing games, and it's a toxic atmosphere, and I've not been spoken to about my future at the football club. That's not conducive to a successful campaign under any manager. And people are like, oh yeah, we need to make when we lost to Middlesbrough, it was right, let's get Dean Smith gone now, they said. Well, that's not going to happen because Stuart Webber's going to be climbing mountains again.
I was willing to...
I don't understand it.
I was willing, and I think Look, I want Dean Smith to turn it around. I don't think he will. I think I was willing to give it a chance, and I thought we hadn't seen enough from a fully fit squad. I don't think he had the opportunity to that. But
that was the excuse that we both used for a while.
And I think he's had that now for a few weeks. And
agreed.
The big worry for me, we're half a season in now. That's a big enough sample size, and we've got the Premier League to look at as well.
Yeah.
There's just hasn't been a single complete performance. There's been spells, but there hasn't been a single complete performance. And I think a lot of people maybe saw that during that 9-game unbeaten run and were going, well, we're winning games, but we're not particularly performing well. And I thought that was a pessimistic way to look at it.
Yeah, me too.
Because my approach to football now, and it's been different over the years, it's like I just want to enjoy it. So if we're winning games, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm not going to look for negatives. So I was willing to take the optimistic approach with that.
Yeah.
But I think, unfortunately, those pessimists have been proved realists. And I think they're probably correct. And I'm a big believer that once you lose the fans, whether you're Dean Smith, whether you're Daniel Farker, whether you're Solskjaer at United, whoever you may be, it's game over. You don't win them back.
Yeah.
It is impossible.
It's hard work. Like
Norwich and Dean Smith would have to go on a stupid unbeaten run and go up automatically for there to be a slither of Dean Smith love.
And do you know what, Jack? How I feel at the moment, and maybe fans feel like this too, I almost think even if we got promoted this season with Dean Smith, fans would still, when it went wrong in the Premier League again, they would turn straight. So I wish I could argue, and I almost feel quite ashamed that I've been turned negative, but I can't defend what we're seeing. And I'm so pleased you brought up that thing, Jack, about the injuries, and that was our excuse for retirement.
And that
I don't know if
valid.
it was we, but I disregarded the Premier League campaign because of what he was left and the situation that we were already in. But the excuses have run dry. And as I've said 2 times already in this podcast, I'll say it again, it really does need to work in January. If it doesn't work in January, and by the way, it annoys me that I'm saying this because I said It was, what was the month where we had all those tough games? We had Sheffield United,
November,
Burnley.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we're still in November.
And
Or
we
October.
have not scraped by. We have failed miserably the November test. Like, we have literally fallen over on our backside, and I don't think we'll be able to get up.
What will it take for you to get back on side with Dean Smith? Or I know
Not much.
no.
Yeah, not much, because I think I'm in the. I actually think I'm sadly now in the minority. I want it to work, but I feel lucky in a weird way that I know what I know about how much the players respect him and enjoy working with him, and what he does at the Lotus Training Centre, Colney. Sorry, just went down the corporate avenue with that. So yeah, I think it's a crying shame that we've got this manager at the football club that's really well respected by everyone that works with him. It's just not working on the pitch at the moment. So I'm that 10-game unbeaten run, and you brought it up, and I said the same thing. I think it was really negative and pessimistic for people to poke holes in that. I just wasn't aboard that. I've said it all season. Just win football matches. Just win football matches. I don't give a shit how. I think it was almost entitled for people to expect us to just romp the Championship again, especially having been relegated in the manner that we were and embarrassed yet again. But we're not winning football matches. I can't defend it.
Yeah, I think there is an element of just needing to win. There's also, that's not particularly sustainable if you're not doing it with a style. And I don't think we had a style. Or
maybe, that's a good point.
Or maybe not even a style, but just
sustainable.
Creating chances, not giving up chances. There are a few. I look at Blackpool, where we got pretty lucky that game. And if you carry over those performances, and also teams start to figure you out over a course of
and maybe
time.
Teams have figured us out, because that 10-game unbeaten run, I still think people were trying to work out what we were doing, but then maybe that's because we don't know what we're doing either.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much.
But if we beat Middlesbrough, and let me try and get in the positive, I genuinely think if we'd beaten Middlesbrough, I think that we would have gone into the World Cup thinking, do you know what? Now we've got a break to work it out, to wash the decks, to start again, to identify a style of some sorts, to work on things that we've been struggling to do, defending and taking our chances. But now it's like we're going into that warm weather camp with no confidence, no style, no momentum.
I think that's the difficult thing, isn't it? Is like points-wise and performance-wise, if we would have beaten Middlesbrough, it doesn't really change too much. But what it does do a massive thing for is confidence and sentiment.
Within the fan base.
Within the fan base.
Yes.
Because we're now going into a 4-week break
Yeah.
off the back of a 92nd minute defeat.
Yeah.
And that's painful enough when you're going from a Saturday to a Tuesday. When you're going from 4 weeks away,
Yes.
you're sitting on that, and that's stewing.
Yeah. 100%.
And now we come back, was it Swansea away?
That's
an
awful game to kick off with. And by the way, I'll tell you this for free, the Norfolk Cafu, you don't need to have any more bloody motivation.
No.
He will want to beat us badly.
And I think I read the other day that our first 8 games back, so when we return, are 8 of the top 10.
Oh dear.
Yeah. England are doing well though. World Cup.
Well, we've won one game, 6-2
pleasing,
against a pub team in a round.
How are you? Were you excited for the World Cup?
No.
You weren't. Are you excited now?
Do you know what? Norwich City have genuinely sapped the life out of me.
In just football in general?
Yeah, well,
I've gone the opposite way.
I'm not confident that England will get far in this tournament. I hope I'm proven wrong, because I absolutely love the boys. I love this team that we've got. I love belting out the national anthem.
Yeah.
I'm all aboard the England bus. And what a talented side we've got, by the way. Do you see what we brought on we brought off the bench today?
Joke. We say that Birmingham are Birmingham.
Yes.
They've produced a boy in Bellingham.
And do you know what? Big up Birmingham.
Yeah.
We laughed at them when they retired the number. What was the number?
I can't remember. But
They retired a number. Was it 22?
Possibly.
They retired a number for Jude Bellingham, and we were like, what the hell? The guy's like 10.
Yeah.
I get it.
Do you want to hear a really depressing / incredible statistic.
I am already on the edge of glory, so do I have to hear this depressing statistic? Thank you.
Take yourself back to the 2018 World Cup.
Yeah, Russia. Ooh, lovely.
Jude Bellingham was 14.
Wow.
How mad is that?
That is mad.
He was 14.
Well, I still think it's mad that he's 19 now.
He's remarkable.
He's our best player.
It was such a good header.
Yeah. Well, not quite Anthony Pilkington, but
It
nice.
was so similar to that goal.
Yeah.
I was watching and I was thinking, where do I...
A B-Tech Pilks.
Oh, it's Pilks.
A B-Tech Pilks.
Garrido into Pilks. That was so similar to
Javi
that.
Garrido loves the paler.
Drinks, still a yellow. Drinks...
I thought you were about to say drinks the Stella.
Well, no,
I was
because
like, God,
the
he drinks
new
Lakens.
chant for the Brighton manager is... Oh, no, it's the Baggies, sorry. He drinks Estrella. He likes paella. He loves the fucking Baggies.
That is awful. Why do you know a West Brom song?
It's just very catchy. I'm just having a quick look. Have US won? No, but they had 2 bookings.
Great.
Should we leave it there? Should we have a short one this week?
No, go on. Let's scrape a couple more questions out.
I don't think there are too many.
You fill the time.
Worth noting, if you've got this far, please, so you don't miss out, the Lakens Norbox, links in the description, 20% off.
There is also a TNC special where you get yellow beers and green beers.
It's class. They are genuinely really good.
Just in case you need... And actually, do you know what? We keep talking about Christmas. Sorry, hang on a minute.
Have you done your Christmas shopping yet?
Oh, of course I have. You know me.
Have you?
Do you know what?
What?
Yeah. Do you know what my little secret is? Apart from obviously investing in Nor and Lakens, which just serves me so well on so many levels, I actually rock up to the old Braintree outlets. I do it all in one day. Get the job done. No fucking about.
Braintree outlets?
Yeah, recommend it.
What, you actually have done your Christmas shopping?
Yeah, done. Let me quickly go to Jeff, NRWC, handsome fellow.
Yes.
He's got his LinkedIn profile picture. Hashtag enough is enough he's got in his profile.
Good man.
Not sure what that's relating to, but fair enough.
I think that's...
It could be Dean Smith, it could be Southgate, it could be UK politics, it could be anything.
I think it's to do with...
Are you about to...
Kicking out racism or something.
Ah. Well, in which case, fair enough. Enough is enough. Jeff, I feel like we're not talking enough about how... This was not worth the build-up. I'm sorry, Jeff. I love you, Jeff. I feel like we're not talking enough about how handsome Mike Attanasio is.
No, we're not. We're not talking enough about
Yeah.
it. He walked into the room, and you know when you feel like you're in a presence.
Yeah.
I felt that.
Yeah.
The hoodie gave off an aura.
Yeah.
You know, the Carrow Road hoodie.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and thought,
yeah,
you're doing
well.
well.
You know, I'm pleased he wore the hoodie because I feel like if he'd worn a suit, it would have put me.
I would have gone weak at the knees.
On too much pressure.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is people criticise some of our questions. Obviously, people are always going to criticise us, whatever.
Look at us.
One of the questions we didn't ask, which I wished we'd asked, was what is Mike Attanasio's skincare routine?
Oh my God!
His skin was unbelievable.
So my good friend Emily messaged me, and she was like,
"What's she saying?
What is his skincare routine?
Yeah,
because I need to know." And I was like, you know what? I didn't think of that at the time.
Yeah,
but I need to know it as well. I reckon he's like doing some mad stuff with like avocados or something.
Yeah, probably.
Rubbing avocado oil deep into his pores.
Yeah. Or it could be Yellow's Bar and Grill burger juice.
He loved the burgers.
He loved the burger, that's for sure.
I can't imagine Mark Attanasio eating a burger.
Yeah, he absolutely loved it.
Do you ever think with like, maybe not so much with Mark, because he's a very humble man.
Yeah, but he actually is, by the way. And he would, do you know what? Let's just quick interjection, please, quick pause. Mike, sorry.
Mark.
Not Magic Mike, not Big Mark. Mark Attanasio, off camera, was equally as warm, humble, genuine, trusting, friendly, was really interested, really engaging. Like, he was just like, you know, like some people, they have a front when they're on camera. He was just awesome. Really was awesome. Sorry, continue on.
No, I think that's a good point, because he was incredibly, generous with his time and humble. But that guy probably earns more in a day than I earn in a year, right? He is minted.
Yes.
He's loaded.
Yes.
But he's still got to take the bins out, He still goes to the toilet in the morning. And I was thinking, imagine having so many zeros in your bank, and yet you've still got to take the recycling out.
Do you know, someone said to me, I shared it with a couple of people. Before we did that pod, I said to someone, I said, I'm a bit nervous. And they were like, Chris, just remember this. Jeff Bezos took a shit today. I was like, yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah.
This has been a weird one. Welcome to the World Cup break. We have scraped the barrel today. Congratulations. If you've got to this point...
People will have done.
If you've got to this point of the pod, I want to see you send us a tweet at TalkNorwichCity, #SuperSarge, okay? Screenshot your page on YouTube as well to prove that you've got to the end of the pod. Absolutely. I want to see that. How many TNC elites are there out there?
What's your plan for the next few days then?
Get smashed.
Right.
Yeah. I am going to watch England.
Are you going out on Friday? Or?
I'm going to
the Bell?
The Oak Bar and Terrace in Thorpe St Andrew.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get one of their stalls. I'm going to go for the old and just go absolutely mental. I can't wait. World Cup fever.
Did you? It was weird, wasn't it? Switching on the telly at 1:00 when it was 3 degrees outside and watching the football. But I kind of enjoyed it. But Friday, I'll be in the pub.
Yeah.
Lakens in hand. And they have got Lakens on tap in the Bell.
Of course. Why wouldn't they?
Living life.
Good for you.
Good to see you.
Cheers, old boy.
Thanks, mate. See you all very soon. Take care of yourself.
Keep the faith.
Get your Christmas shopping done.
OTBC.
Buy some Lakens. See you all very soon.